Good evening. Good evening. Sorry I am late. Thought I would have been good by 4:30, but que sera, sera. Here now. Hopefully everybody had a good weekend. Hopefully everybody had a good day today. Even though the day's still kind of young. The night's young. It's not even 5 o'clock yet. At least where I'm at. But I definitely hope everybody had a good day. All right. I don't think nobody is here yet, but that's fine. So yeah, the topic for okay, I've been here. Hey, Cutting Edge. Sorry I'm late. I apologize. How are you doing? Let me know if I'm too loud or if you can't hear me good. So yeah, the topic for tonight's live is learning how to take an L and why that's important. Learning how to take an L is important. Hey, nah, all good. I've been in many other places. Cool. Cool beans. And where I got this topic from, or where this topic came from, because I didn't just pull it out my hat. I was watching I don't know if you guys ever watch, but I was watching Joe I'm gonna say Joe Biden. I was watching Joe Budden's podcast earlier because I like watching his podcast, even though they be cutting up and acting a fool. Looney Tunes says salute V. Salute Looney Tunes, good evening. And Cutting Edge says, yeah, I'm alright. What about you? I'm doing all right. I'm having a good day. Today's been a good day. I've just been resting, relaxing. I haven't really watched any football. My team didn't play today, so I wasn't pressed to watch any football. We'll be back like we never left when we play again. Let's see. All right. So yeah. So when they were on the topic of Drake's lawsuit against his record label being dismissed, one of the things Joe has said was learning how to take an L is important. And they didn't dwell on it. That was just something he said in passing, but it caught my attention, and I'm like, ain't it? So I said to myself, if I go live today, I wanted to talk about it because my morning and afternoon lives are never longer than an hour, if that. So this is something I wanted to talk about when I knew I had some time, a little bit of time on my hands, and hopefully, you know, I don't gotta end the live any sooner than when it's time to end it. Let's see. All right, so yeah, that's what I want to talk about with you guys. And like it says in the description, I don't know if you guys read the description. It just says learning how to take an L means developing the mental and emotional resilience to accept quote unquote defeat or failure gracefully and use it as a learning opportunity. This involves acknowledging the loss, whatever the loss is, um, or whatever you deem the loss to be, because not everything we deem to be a loss is a loss. What else? Oh yes, not dwelling on it and focusing on what you can control, such as your actions and your attitude, to move forward and grow from the experience. That should always be the goal, regardless of what it is we got going on. You don't want to be stagnant in the moment, especially if there's something you can do about it. So yeah, is it a loss or is it a lesson? Or is it a redirection? That's what I want to talk about today. Because I'm not going to say some of y'all, I'll just say us as a unit, as one. Some of us have a hard time taking stuff for what it is and then moving forward. You know what I mean? Especially if it's not the outcome that we may have wanted or that we were looking forward to or expecting, which is why we really shouldn't, roam around expecting stuff, especially things that are not a given. And when I say accept the L, that doesn't mean like accept the fact that, you know, you may have failed at something or lost an opportunity and so at something. Not that you should just accept it and not do anything about it. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying and what I want to talk about is how if you don't have the ability, if we don't have the ability to be able to take things for what they are gracefully and move forward, it's not going to get you nowheres. It's definitely not going to get you nowheres. It's not going to change the situation. So whatever it is you feel like, you lost or was an L, reacting to it negatively or in a toxic way is not going to change that outcome. All it is just going to pile on to the fact that you done took an L. And that's not healthy. That's not healthy and it's not productive. And the goal should be when we're maneuvering around life and society, you don't want to go out like that. You want to maneuver around in a healthy and a productive way. Unlike this person that just came in. Blaze, bless your soul. What's up? How are you? Yeah. And really, you just have to have mind control over Debo. And it's not easy because we're not robots. We have feelings, we have emotions and whatnot. But we have to have the ability, or at least try to have the ability, to take things for what it's worth. You know what I mean? And then move forward. And I'm pretty sure we all have had this, problem or issue at some point, even if it's not in your current life. And if you haven't, that's a blessing. So let's see. First thing, because I looked that up a little bit, I didn't want to just be rambling. The first thing it says, acknowledge the loss, whatever the loss is, whether that's a loss in a job, God forbid, because that's your livelihood, a loss in friendship, a loss in a relationship, etc. Whatever it is you deem to be a loss. What did you say? You're only. You think so? I'm gonna go red lines. I'm recording for afternoon at the moment. I love that. I can't wait for her to drop that episode. So yeah, acknowledging the loss, meaning accept that you failed or lost, whether that's in a game, because some people are gamers and they take it very seriously. You know, people people that play the game like Xbox, PlayStation, etc. Women, men, children, because a lot of different type of people play. They take it really seriously. I'm talking about throw their controllers, all type of stuff. They cussing each other out. I done heard kids going crazy on there. Whether it's a game, whether it's a test that you had to take for whatever reason, whether you're in school or it's a test for your job, maybe a test to get a promotion that you might not have done well on, but you do have an opportunity to retake it. Let's see. I'm all over the place. Oh yes, or a different kind of setback. You definitely want to acknowledge it because it happened or it's happening. It's not something you just made up or dreamt. You definitely want to acknowledge it for sure and then go from there. And it says, V, I believe a lot of people in general can't handle taking an L in any circumstance. I believe that is part of life. Nobody and no one can always take the W all the time. Life itself don't be working all that or don't work like that. Exactly. And that's a fact, which is why when Joe said it, and even though they didn't dwell on it, he said it in passing, it definitely caught my attention because that's a for sure fact. Every day can't be bubblegum and ice cream. Things are not always going to go our way. People are not always going to do and say the things we want them to say. It just doesn't work that way. And you have to know how to pivot. We have to know how to pivot. Like I said, you don't want to just be stagnant and just, sitting idly by when you can do something about it. That's a fact. And even though that's something, depending on how we were raised up, that's something we learn or should have learned in our adolescent phases when we were children. unless you were just a super spoiled behind child. We learned that as children, we're not going to always get what we want, when we want it, how we want it. Things are not always going to be how we want it to be. What we want for dinner is not always going to be what mom or dad or whoever raised us makes and puts, in front of us come dinner time. That's why I don't believe in coddling children once they hit a certain age, because we live in a real world, and the real world is not going to coddle us, you know? Let's see. Blaze said, not gonna lie, those rage quit videos are comedy gold. Folks literally throw away money by destroying the game console and controllers. Hell, sometimes the flat screens get trashed too. I'm saying, and I'm just like, whoa, there's no way that because you lost a game or because you're losing a game or whoever your partner or teammate, they not doing a part, they slacking and they macking or whatever the case may be, the game is lagging because sometimes the game be lagging depending on whoever the host is and what their internet is like. So because that's happening, you're about to throw some money out the window. I wouldn't care if you had it or not. Not only that, then a good 9 times out of 10, whatever you already had going on is probably going to be destroyed. I doubt it's going to automatically save somewhere in the clouds. You never know. But even if you have the money, now you have to go out and get another one. And like I said, depending on how you have your stuff saved and what the options are, you got to start all over. That is a complete lack of self-control. Complete. And to be honest, certain types of, lacks of self-control will lead somebody in jail or prison if you want to keep it a bean. Them crimes of passion are because somebody done got their feelings hurt and did some wild, crazy mess in a moment and wasn't even thinking and just acted. There's plenty of stories like that out there. And they call them crimes of passion because you was heated, you was upset, you was passionate, you was feeling a certain type of way. You let your feelings get the best of you in a major way. But as funny as it is, there is no way, that's what Blaze said, there's no way in hell I would have gotten away clean with rage quitting growing up. Grandfather didn't play that dumb ish straight like that. No, and I bet you wasn't gonna get another one if your grandfather knew like I know. Go ahead and can't control your emotions and mad because a game that you have the opportunity to play again didn't go your way and you break it and you didn't buy it. Okay, but you gonna find something else to do. I've had, cause it says I've had homies throw controller, throw a damn controller at me and also spaz out on headset, taking the damn game seriously. For me, I do games here and there, but it ain't serious nor real life. So it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm not even gonna get into gambling because I'm of the yoke of don't gamble no money or bet no money that you can't afford to lose. Don't gamble no money or bet any money relying on the come up to take care of that initial money and then give you some extras. If you're a type that like to bet or gamble, only do that with money that is extra. Even though there's no real such thing as extra money, do it with money that if for whatever reason you lost that bet or the gamble didn't go your way, you can be content, even if it's annoying or you mad. You can be content with taking that L because either way, the L is gonna be taken, and that's a fact. How we react to whatever L we took is not going to change the outcome, but it can definitely help you move forward in a healthy way, a healthy, constructive way. Because either way, the L has been taken. And if you really take a step back, depending on what the situation is, it may not even really be an L. You might have just been in your feelings in the moment and took it as an L, not even knowing that that's probably an opportunity to look at it like a redirection. You got to change your perspective of how you look at things. It might not even be an L while you're over there treating it as such. It may just be an opportunity to be redirected to something better, to make you someone better, someone great. Let's see. Reflect and learn. Reflect and learn. Take time to understand what happened and why. I like that. That's part of it. Reflect and learn. Take time to understand what happened and why it happened. Because sometimes, if not most times, we hyper focus on the outcome, the ending result of the quote unquote L. We rarely take, you know, a step back to try to understand what happened and why it happened. Lay says, if you can't control yourself and keep your emotions in check while playing a video game, then how would you be able to handle a real L in real life? And that was just one example, but yeah. So that's why especially if you're raising up children or you have a younger sibling or somebody that plays the game, and if you peep them reacting that way, it's best that you redirect them immediately on the spot. Tell them to calm down. It's not that serious. Nip that in the bud early on, if possible. And like I said, that's why I don't believe in spoiling children and coddling children and teenagers, because that's not going to do them any good once they hit this real world. They're going to be like a fish out of water, complete culture shock. Hold on. One of my favorite sayings is the show must go on. I forget exactly where I heard or seen that from because I didn't pull it out my hat. But I completely subscribe to that. The show must go on regardless. And that's in any situation that comes my way or our way. The show must go on, regardless if things went or going our way or not. We have to have the ability to pivot and keep it pushing in a healthy and constructive way. It says avoid making excuses and instead use the experience to learn which you can change in the future. So this is all in the same reflect and learn. Avoid making excuses and instead use the experience to learn what you can change in the future. I love that. Because like I said, either way, the outcome is not changed. But you can dictate what you do about it and how you move, how you choose to move moving forward, which can open doors for better opportunities or a better opportunity. Cutting edge said V, just to add a different view. What I've learned and noticed and realized is that more and more people cannot handle take an L and bottle it up. The art of opening up, having a convo seems to be gone astray, in my opinion. Just to add further, more, in my opinion, conversation face to face, authentic way. Yes, like rather than through text and on the phone, right? I personally am the type of person that I prefer rather a face to face conversation, or if I had to choose out of the two between texting and talking on the phone, I prefer to talk on the phone because sometimes text messages can, be misconstrued or taken the wrong way, depending. So I definitely prefer to just have a conversation, an actual conversation, especially if you can have a conversation with the person and be able to look that person in their eyes while you talking to them. And that's in any scenario, whether it's business, friendship, relationship, whatever have you. People definitely bottle up things. Like closed mouth don't get fed. People don't have crystal balls in their pocket ready to pull out every time they're not sure exactly what it is you mean. I'll ask somebody real quick, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? Or what type of time are you on? And if I'm feeling the type of way about something, the person is going to know I feel a type of way about something. It's just all about how you say it, too. Because some people really come crazy. And I'm a strong believer that when somebody feels like they're being attacked, even if what you're saying is valid or has valid points to it, they're going to shut down most times. Nobody wants to just sit there and be attacked. So I'm a big believer of knowing how to deliver your message so it can be received properly. Let me see. But to each their own. I truly believe face to face or over the phone. Very sure. Authenticity via tone, words. You get what I'm saying? Just my opinion. I agree. And it gives you opportunity or that person an opportunity to get some clarity to something if they're not sure, rather than have to sit and wait for a text back. You're having a conversation and the person is not really understanding or don't know what you mean or how you come in. They can ask you, like, what do you mean? And then you could elaborate. Hey, CP3, you said hooping and listening. Cool beans. Hope you had a good day. So let's see. You definitely don't want to bottle it up. And especially if it's like something like, okay, if it's like a quote unquote L in a situation to where you have an opportunity to turn it on its face, maybe. So maybe if it's a promotion that you were looking for or a pay raise you were looking for and you got denied for it, there's nothing wrong with seeing if that opportunity may be able to become available in the future and to get an understanding as to what is the problem. What what was their reasoning? And it may be something that you didn't even think about before. And even if you don't necessarily agree, if it's something you feel passionate about and you really want, you will know that you have some improvement to do. If it's in a relationship and you get broken up with, most times there's signs. But even if it just came out the woodwork, if it's not that because they wanted to be with somebody else, there's nothing wrong with wanting to get some understanding. If the person is willing to give it. If they're not willing to give it, then it's like, nah, you just got to take it for what it is and keep it pushing. Because we're not in the business of being super pressed and stalking nobody. That's weird, you know? So if they blocked you, that doesn't mean find a different way to call them to see what the problem was. But if that person is mature enough to let you know what it is and you guys care about one another and it's something that can be fixed, instead of you just taking it as an L, you can take it as a learning opportunity to improve yourself. If there's something that you need to be improving on that caused that person to not want to be with you no more. You know what I mean? And then on the opposite side of that, like I was talking about with the crimes of passion, you got some people that crazy. I don't know how they got that way or whatever the case may be. It might not have even been crazy. It might have been quote unquote regular, normal their whole life. And then they just snap because they wife, they husband, they boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever decided this ain't that no more. And they didn't want to be with them. So now they like, oh, okay, I'm about to just take you out. No, that's crazy. That's crazy. You have to know how to pivot. There, and there's many cases of when that has happened. Person didn't have nothing wrong with them, at least not invisibly or anything or history, none of that crap. Even with jobs, people done lost their job. They go into their place of income and do all type of ungodly stuff. And then people are collateral damage that ain't have nothing to do with it because they couldn't accept the fact that they done lost their job and just try to get another one. or see if there's some type of understanding as to why they lost their job. And even if you can't, because even if you can't get that job back or that spouse back or whatever it is that you lost, if you're able to get to an understanding as to what it was, what the problem was, you can take them lessons with you moving forward to hopefully be able to avoid or prevent the same ish from happening again. Learn from it and keep it moving so it doesn't happen again. And if it does happen again, you'll know how to handle it. So let's see. My bad, y'all. Sorry. Blaze says, man, with social media being as dominant as it is and the continued advancement of technology, human connection gets chipped away bit by bit. You ain't never lied. You ain't never lied. Because there's people on here that will shoot they shot in the comment section to a complete stranger, but wouldn't have the gold or nerve, the audacity to come up to somebody in like a Walgreens or something and just say, "Hey, how are you doing?" They would not shoot they shot in real life, but on their social media, they like the army slogan back in the day: "Be all you can be." So crazy. No social skills in real life, but stay on social media. How is that possible? You stay on social media, but you have zero social skills. It's really a shame. That's why I don't believe in social media for children. And if that makes me whack, I'll be that. I'll be that. I don't believe in that. Let's see. Right. People be like, you got Instagram? No. You have this? No. I don't. I be on YouTube and Facebook sometimes. That's about it. And I'm a strong believer that everything ain't for everybody. The fudge, people be wanting to document their whole life. I don't need to document my whole life. If you in my life, then you know what's good. V, Kardinal says, V, this convo has reminded me of a recent homie. We weren't close, and from bottling and recently passed by undoing. Hold on. By undoing. I wish I could have done more. I remember last interactions with him. He showed signs. That's so sad. I flashed back thinking I should have done more. The homie is gone over a damn relationship, and he was a good dude. Gone now. I know a lot of people that have passed from bottling up. Yeah, and that's why I really encourage people to get some type of therapy and find somebody to talk to if you can. And the good thing about the therapy, opposed to just talking about stuff with somebody you know in your personal life, and especially on social media, is a therapist don't have a dog in the fight. They don't know you. They don't know anybody that you know. There's certain laws set up to where they can't run your stuff back anyway. They don't have no reason to tell you what it is you think you want to hear or they think you want to hear. None of that. And like I said in the live the other day, yeah, you know, the first therapist, the first couple therapists you go to may not be for you because it might just be like a personality thing, whatever the case may be. Everybody's not going to be your cup of tea and vice versa. But they definitely don't have no dog in the fight. And you definitely don't have to worry about come mad day, as they call it, all your stuff getting ran down because you done made somebody mad or they got any feelings, whatever the case may be. Or they just don't know how to hold water because some people don't know how to hold water, meaning they just can't help themselves. Some people just genuinely mean well, but they just talk too much about stuff that they ain't got no business repeating. And that's just the honest truth. And yeah, if you know the person, you know the personality and how they normally come. Like it doesn't mean, try to pry all crazy in their life and antagonize nobody or nothing like that. But if you can be there, and some people you just gotta just flat out say, listen, especially if you know they're the type that don't like to talk about their feelings. Some people you have to just tell them straight up, listen, what you got going on? What's good? Because I'm not trying to hear that I'm fine stuff or nothing, blah, blah, blah. I know you and I know something is wrong. So just know that I know and I'm here when you want to talk about it. Straight up. I'm down for doing check ins. I'm with that. Especially if you care about the person, they're your friend, family member, spouse, whatever. And even when I'm like maneuvering around, I never ask somebody how they doing if I don't want to hear how they doing. I never ask somebody, "Oh, how you doing?" with the intent of not really wanting to hear how they doing. I would just say, "What's up? What's good? Hey." I'm not gonna say, "How are you doing?" if I don't really care to hear how you doing. But there's a lot of people that do that. They say, "Oh, how you doing?" and then keep it pushing. What you ask for? Lee says exactly, V. Says condolences. Keeping things, Lee said, I'm behind in the chat. My bad, y'all. Keeping things bottled up is a dangerous thing to do. I learned that from therapy years ago. At some point, you gotta unpack and get it all out. Word. Just try to do that in the healthiest way possible. And it happens to the best of us, you know? But you definitely have to have the ability to get a grip on it. Some people just really have to get a grip. Sometimes we just really have to get a grip. It says, V, the irony is the homie always felt comfortable talking about life and relationship with me. The last few interactions we had, I was busy and kind of flogged them off. It makes me think I should have given more time. Well, we're not, like I said, we don't have crystal balls to pull out of our pocket to let us know, like, hey, it is, it's going to be this or it's going to be that. Sometimes we honestly just don't know what we don't know. And life itself can get busy. you know? And that doesn't make us selfish. It just means sometimes we just get busy with our own stuff and what we have going on. And that's why I was saying the other day, another good thing about going to therapy is that you're not unpacking or unloading your stuff on anybody else or feeling like you're a burden or that you are. And if there's certain things you have going on in your mind that you may not feel comfortable expressing to the closest of friends or even your spouse, you have that outlet to be able to express those feelings to, someone and still get constructive, positive, healthy feedback while still getting that off, getting it out, and it not being bottled up. I really encourage that. So a lot of times that's what it is. People don't want to feel like they're a burden with certain things, especially if it's not something positive, you know? And especially if they know that the other person they communicate with, has their own stuff going on as well. We all have a plight in life, but I understand what you mean. And with that, the only thing you can do is moving forward as you maneuver in life, whoever you have in your circle that you're close to, if you're able to give them that time, give them that time. That's the only thing you can do moving forward when it comes to that, you know? Blake says it's a good thing to check in on your people, but you also got to check in on yourself and make sure you're squared away and in a good place physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Agree, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And that's a fact. That is a complete fact. And certain things, if you can bring somebody along with you, that you're doing to better yourself and keeping your mind intact in a healthy way, why not? And then it's two peas in a pod. You're supporting that person and giving them your time while you both are doing constructive, positive things, you know? Like, for example, if I'm friends with somebody that want to lose weight, I don't necessarily need to lose weight, but that don't mean that I can't be there for them on their journey. I can't, help them find different ways of, eating better, living healthier. Shoot, they might be jogging, I might just be walking because I still believe even if you're not overweight or need to lose weight or not, you still need to keep that body moving. Whatever the case may be, a lot of times people are selfish and not talk about any of y'all, just saying like us as a whole, we get selfish or just caught up in what it is that interests us. That sometimes we don't support our folks. And it doesn't mean that we don't love them, care about them. It just we didn't even think about it, give it a second thought. So if somebody says, "Girl, I need to lose some weight," I'm not going to have the mentality of, "Well, I don't." I'm gonna be like, "Okay, bet we're gonna have a deeper conversation. How you want to move, what you want to do. You're gonna give me the guideline, and I'm gonna support you on it. You don't like your job? Put in more applications for a different job. Don't just maneuver around your job like you don't like it. You don't want to be there. Let that be some fire under your butt or motivation to go ahead and try to find another job. And if it's a job that requires you to have certain qualifications, Let that be motivation to go ahead and get them qualifications so you can get that job that you really want. If it's something that you're able to obtain, why not? Cutting edge says 100 VM blades. Yeah, it's definitely not on you. I have a lot going on too. I'm supposed to be on sabbatical right now. You really are, but I still try my best to show up for people when I'm able to. I definitely understand. And that's why if you did, you've been showing up a lot, and I really thought you was on sabbatical, but I'm here for it. But even if you weren't able to, I understand. You already let us know that you were going on sabbatical for this last quarter of the year. We're at it's just the home stretch. It's gonna be a new year before we know it. I definitely appreciate all you guys showing up, especially somebody that's supposed to be on sabbatical, on leave. I appreciate everybody's time. That's another thing, kind of off topic, but that's another thing some people get misconstrued and messed up. Some people really have the game messed up. They really think that their time is more valuable than somebody else's time. And that is really something that grinds my gears a little bit because nobody's time is more valuable than somebody else's and vice versa. So I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Appreciate people that show up for you and support you and actually care about your well-being and what you got going on. But they can be spending their time doing other things, whatever those other things are. I'm going on sabbatical soon. I'm going to do these lines for F&M and do a few more pop-ups, and then I'm on leave. I dig it. You got to do what you got to do. Yeah, that definitely came out wrong, but I'm gonna leave you be because I know what you mean. We supporting our sister in her show. Let me see, because I didn't even get through all the stuff. What is it? Two of y'all in here. I appreciate y'all. I really do. So let's see. Y'all know I'm long-winded. I don't guys. I didn't get sidetracked, but I want to still keep going. So we went over reflect and learn. Damn, don't bother me when I'm doing something. I hate when people do this crap. Better not. Okay, good. It's raining where I'm at, and I love it. And it's like God heard me because I was saying earlier, because the rain had stopped and I had missed it. So I was saying, dang, I hope it rains again. And lo and behold, it's been raining, and I'm here for it. That's because you're long-winded, shorty. I'm a long-winded shorty. CBG said, hey, yo, you gotta realize, please. I'm telling you, bless your soul. So, yes, let go of what you can't control. If I had a soundboard, it would be making all type of clapping noises, amens. Let go of what you can't control. Oh my God. Focus on your own actions and mindset. rather than dwelling on the outcome that is already in the past. Because, like I said, what's done is done. What's done is done, son. There's nothing you can do about that. Now, like I said before, in certain situations, there may be something you can do about it, but most times, what's done is done. It's a dub. You said Blaze Montana. I can't. I can't. I'm gonna read that again. Let go of what you can't control. Focus on your own actions and mindset rather than dwelling on the outcome that is already in the past. It is what it is, okay? It is what it is. And when I used to work with old folks, like old folks, I learned something. I think it's like a song from an old movie back in the day. Que sera, sera. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. The future is not ours to see. It is what it is. Don't dwell on it, especially not in a negative way. Like you said, like I said when I read the reflect and learn part, just take the time to understand what happened and why it happened, and then move forward. Focus on what you can do and how you choose to look at things. Because sometimes the way you're looking at it might be all jacked up. That's a fact. Y'all just about as giddy as you want to be, just to laughing. I'm here for it though. With y'all giddy selves. Blaze, I'm gonna hit you with the 619. Okay? And just know that. The world, Chico, and everything in it. What is that from? What? What does that mean? The world, Chico, and everything in it. What does that mean? That might be going over my head. Expound. What does that mean? Cutting Edge says, V, I think I'm always mindful of the future, but not at the expense of the present. That's a good ability to have, actually. Wait, am I losing it? Let me see. Because you said the world, Chico. Is that from a movie? And everything in it. Where's that from? No, I'm not joking. Yeah, 619. Because the fudge. Why you cutting up in here, Blaze? You always cutting up. Hey, CC. How are you? And yes, Blaze, where's that from? Because now I'm like, am I losing it? I don't know where that's from. Where was I? Yeah, you let go of what you can't control. Focus on your own actions and mindset rather than dwelling on the outcome that is already in the past. Oh, a line from Scarface? Oh, excuse me. It is what it is. My bad. Stop using part of. I mean, you don't own that, so Oh well, you're gonna have to take that L. Somebody be cutting up. I'm gonna say they cutting up. And you do a lot of cutting up, but you gonna leave it alone. Hey V, I'm so late. Hey Rebecca, don't worry about it. That's okay, girl. How are you? I haven't seen you in a bit. I hope everything's okay. I'm done for the day. Why? The night is still young. Let go of what you can't control. Focus on your own actions and mindset. Worry about what you can do. And if it's something you did or didn't do, focus on that and be honest with yourself. If it's something that you slacked on that led to you taking that L, keep it a beam with yourself and be like, all right, I could have really did better here or there. I ain't really put my full best foot forward. And then moving forward, do what you need to do. If you know you were taking shortcuts, don't take them same shortcuts no more. And when it comes to the mindset, you can take it as a loss and then also choose to take it as a lesson, like I said. Take from it what you need to so you can have better outcome moving forward, God willing. Or you know, have the mindset of you're being redirected to something that might be a better opportunity for you. You know what I'm saying? But in order to get to that point of even having that thought process, you have to have the ability to take a step back and really reflect and take stuff for what it is. Listen, rather than dwelling on the outcome that is already in the past. What are you going to dwell on it for? That's not helping nothing. You're just wasting time on some woe is me stuff. Oh, I wanted this promotion, but I didn't get it. I lost my job, but I haven't been putting no applications in. I didn't really come to work every day and do what I needed to do, but I lost my job. Oh, they left me. Like, come on. Why you want to be on some woe is me stuff if you can do something about it? Yes, acknowledge whatever it is or it was, whatever loss it was. Yes, acknowledge it because it's something real that happened. And you're a real person with real feelings. You're not a freaking robot. But there's a thin line between acknowledging it and thinking about it and then you dwelling on it, you know? And that's annoying too to other people, especially if you're not doing nothing about it. Nobody want to hear that crap. Just gonna be honest. Who and Rebecca says, I'm doing better. Thank you for asking, G. How are you doing? I'm doing good, girl. And I'm definitely doing better than I was. What? I say this time, month or so ago. And that's a blessing. It's a major key. For real. Cutting off your folder supply too. Psych, I know you lying. The best part of waking up, no no Folgers and V's cup. That is not the best part of waking up. That would be a bad part of waking up. I'm gonna have my coffee. I'm a grown woman. I do whatever I want. I'm gonna get my coffee now. What you talking about? They say come hell or high water. Rebecca says I have family members that live in the past. How annoying is that? You know? And I be having to catch myself sometimes too. And just be like, girl, bye. I know you lying. Mm-mm. Because that's just not productive at all. Just sit around on some woe is me stuff whilst not doing nothing about it. It's very annoying. And one can only take but so much of that before they just tell you about yourself. Then your feelings gonna be hurt. And it's not that they felt that way the whole time, but it's like, damn, you just keep beating me down with this same stuff. And I'm constantly lending an ear. I'm constantly giving you the best constructive criticism and advice that I can, giving you ideas, but you're not doing none of it or even coming to form your own ways of thinking to make things better. You just stuck in the it. And that itch gets old. I'm telling you. And if you didn't know that and you the type of person that does that to other people, just know they can't stand that shit. Excuse my language. They just love you enough to not really tell you that. But best believe that is just annoying. And that might be why they don't answer your phone calls as often as you might want them to. Or why you'll be on a phone for a little bit and then they'll magically got some ish going on. They might not. They just might not be beat. And nobody likes a Debbie or a Daniel Downer either. And that's just being real. Somebody could care about you, but at the same time, if you are always on some negative ish every time they talk to you, that is like so draining. They still love you and care about you, but that is draining. It's always a gloomy day. Like, damn, you're not having a moment. Like, this is your lifestyle. It's the difference between having a moment and going through some ish. But that's why they call it moment. Like they don't a moment because it doesn't last forever. But for some people, it has become like a lifestyle, and that is so draining. And it puts you in such a crazy situation, especially if it's somebody you care about. If it's somebody that you just cordial with, you don't really rock with like that. It's not really as draining because I don't really got to deal with you or feel the need to want to deal with you like that to allow you to even drain me of my energy with all this negative ish, especially if you're not doing nothing about it. But when it's somebody you genuinely care about, you love, it puts you in such a situation because you don't want to just be like bump them and bump that because you care about them. But at the same time, what's good? And then that's how people feelings get hurt sometimes because that's when you're going to get the real rap from a person and they get tired of that ish and something just has to give. So they're going to tell you about yourself, unfortunately or fortunately, because some people just need to be told about themselves. It's not best to really tiptoe around. That's a funny thing about older people, and they call it like I don't know if y'all ever heard the term before, like a dressing down. Like a older person will tell you about yourself and get you together real quick and really have you sitting there pondering and thinking about some shit. Like, did they just like And it might not hit you until later on in that evening. Like, wait, the fuck? Some older people will really get you together, and some people really need to be gotten together. They need to be gathered. and get a grip. You said I ain't getting a damn thing. I get whatever it is. Blaze, the world is my oyster. Whatever I want and whatever God has for me, if it's able to be obtained, I'm going to get it, honey. If God wants me to have it, I'm going to get it. And if He wants me to keep it, it's going to be kept. Rebecca said, it makes me sick. Girl, some people you just have to really set healthy boundaries with and just set the tone for how we're going to do this here. Otherwise, they're just going to run astray and just do what they just have shit, just be ran amok. Do whatever they want at any time. Call you at any time with some bull crap. Whatever the case may be, you got to set healthy boundaries while still letting the person know that you care about them. But at the same time, no offense, I care about me more when it comes to my mental health. You're not about to break me down and drain me, especially if I'm the type to try to help and give good ideas or just ideas to make you think about stuff in a different way. Let me see. True. If I lost my damn mind and was crashing out left and right, then a real friend would try to intervene and check me on my BS and vice versa. If we peoples and I got you. Yes, and especially if you know the person you're dealing with and you know how they come and you know what their intentions for you are. So you know not to take certain things a certain way. And sometimes if we do, because we're human, we might take it a certain way, but then you have to really sit and think like, is there any validity? Validity. Damn, I couldn't get that word out. So what this person is saying, is there something there? And is this somebody that would just say something to me just to be saying something to me? You know, we have to have the ability to really take a step back and think about stuff like that, especially before we react. Blaze, isn't there something in the Bible that talks about not being quick to react? I don't know why I couldn't get that word out. That word don't like me. Is there something in the Bible that talks about that? Being slow to act or react? I believe that's where I've seen it. I could be wrong. I know that's something that I'm constantly working on. It is in the Bible, Rebecca. That's something I'm constantly working on. Yes, it's in the book of James. Okay. Let's see. That's a constant test for me. Damn, I done messed something up. Ugh. Hold on. That's so annoying. Hold on, y'all. And I'm closed out a window. I didn't mean to close out. Silly me. Dang, I done lost where I was reading from. That's so annoying. Hold on. Even though I don't necessarily need it, but so what? That's so annoying. See me messing around, touching stuff. But anyway, we catch the gist of it. That's so annoying though. Why it won't let me go back? I didn't mean to close that. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, I think I found it. No, it's not the same one. Whatevs. Y'all catch the gist. But damn, we've been on here for a minute. It says, I completely lost. I closed the window of where I was reading from. We only had a couple more things to read from it, but that's okay. You guys catch the gist of what I'm saying. At least you should. Quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger. Yes, there's other passages that speak on getting angry as well, like in Proverbs. Yeah, you definitely want to take a step back. At least try to, so that way you're able to take things for what it's worth, and then move forward in a healthy, constructive way. That's all. You definitely don't want to be quick to react, and not everything you know that in the moment you think is a loss is a loss. I seen something that said you take the L out of learn and you have earn, because some things that we consider a loss wasn't something that we earned anyway. Because a lot of times we take, people and things for granted. When this is all temporary. So it might be something you need to really learn from to get you ready for a blessing that was even better than the one that you thought you took a L on. And that's a fact. Yeah. You guys caught the gist of what it was I wanted to talk about. We all have an understanding. Because I was starting to get annoyed that I closed that window and I couldn't open it back up. Couldn't find where I left off at. But I feel like we've been on here talking about this long enough to where you guys get my point of what it is I wanted to talk on tonight, speak on tonight. I'm about to get out of here. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night and you have a good start to your week. Make sure you stretch in the morning when you wake up before you leave your house. Allow yourself enough time to do that. Okay? Bye.